Get back to some of the Group 1 action from yesterday. The Coolmore Stud Stakes, what a field as it was, and the favourite, Rich Enough, was the focus of many, but have a look at the finish here. So another Chris Waller domination here. 1-2.
Rich Enough got a flyer, one of the first out. A loping began with him. Time for War got away well. Scissor Kick jumped nicely. Brazen Bow just off the speed with Armada ahead of him. They split into a couple of divisions here with Rubik leading down on the inside ahead of Earthquake, and just in behind them Nostradamus and Inkling, but the outside would have the lead. The Flying Eloping's out there with Rich Enough and A Time for War. Just in behind them is Armada, and they're followed by Scissor Kick closer to the middle ahead of Hassan Eagle, and back behind those horses at the head of the others Brazen Bow trying to work his way into it. They come towards the 500 metres. Down on the inside still Rubik shows the way ahead of Earthquake and Nostradamus. Out on this side it's eloping still from Time for War. Rich Enough still with something to give. Brazen Bow's going to come the widest, and also Scissor Kick closer to the inside. Earthquake went to Rubik down on the inside as they went to the 300 metres. On this side now Brazen Bow's coming with a barnstorming run ahead of Rich Enough, and Kuro starting to come. The outside has it here. It's Brazen Bow the leader from Delectation and Kuro. Brazen Bow in front of Kuro and the Delectation. Brazen Bow in front, and Brazen Bow's won it from Delectation by a length of neck to Kuro.
It was a Waller 1-2 here. Moreira beats Oliver here, though. Brazen Bow beats Delectation. Great result for a big bunch of owners from Queensland. The Gold Coast on-track thoroughbreds here with Brazen Bow. Just cost them $70,000. What value is he now as a colt? Brazen Bow, Moreira getting a Group 1 in Australia with this horse, Brazen Bow. Chris, and you'd done some thinking with this horse too to get him to be peaking on Derby Day.
Yeah, I think more the thinking was don't panic. We knew that we had a horse good enough, and we had a very wet spring in Sydney, which ruled him out of the Golden Rose. We changed track and thought the best race for him was up the straight at Flemington first up, but I just don't think he was quite prepared for it. He simply wasn't fit enough, unfortunately. Trainer error. But he learnt through going up the straight that on that occasion it would have been an asset for yesterday. Went back to Sydney, had a kill and a good race. Hello Crown and those horses were in there, as was Delectation. Got his confidence back, came down here with 4 weeks to prepare, had a jump out up the straight, gallop up the straight, and I think that showed yesterday.
Was it a similar path to Zoustar? Did he teach you last year?
Almost identical, except he worked better on the Friday morning before. So, both very good colts, exceptional colts. This horse, will he be the next Zoustar? Hopefully we get a longer lifespan with this horse, but we've got to make the most of these good colts when we get them.
You gave him 2 looks down the straight in the Danehill, and then, as you mentioned, in that jump out last Friday. For those horses coming down to Sydney that don't get that regular exposure, how important is it, especially these younger colts?
It'd probably be a better question for Damien, but from the experience I've had, it's very important.
I find Sydney horses nearly adapt to the straight better than Melbourne horses, because Melbourne horses, when they jump out, they're trained to go left and find the rail on the left-hand side, whereas these days down the straight, we tend to come down to the middle, to the outside. Okay. So, you know, it's almost natural then to jump out and go right, and for some reason they just adapt easier with the rail on their right, whereas...
Interesting.
And you find, the horse you see there, the horses that are on the inside, they're kind of in no man's land, they do get a little bit lost.
Shocking. That's why you use these blokes.
Exactly right. Yeah. Well, Sydney Colts 1, 2, 3 home there yesterday, and then a big group
and
of the locals behind them, and a big gap. Yeah, they were absolutely dominant, Rich, weren't they? You know, Rich Enough clearly. You weren't to know whether he was going to come back from that Guineas run. Effort. It would have been, and he was cooked at the 400 metres, as Michael Rod pointed out. But yeah, were you surprised the first 3 drew away a bit from the rest?
Look, Rich Enough is the only one that surprised me, but he's total forgive after what he did in the Caulfield Guineas prelude and then the Caulfield Guineas. But look, the first 3 are pretty smart horses. Even Delectation, you can ask Chris this. Like, he's been getting beaten in easier races, but they've been walks, jogs, and trots, and he just gets back and over races and does things wrong. He gets in a January run race, and you see the best of him. Yeah,
and we knew he'd be very strong at the end of 1200, and we were a little bit unsure after Brazen Bow's 1 run down here whether he would get a strong 1200, but I got it wrong. Brazen Bow was strong enough.
He was. What about Delectation? Were you surprised? When he burst through, I just thought for a moment he might be the upset card.
Yeah, I gave him a sneaky chance. I looked at his replays, and as you said, in smaller fields where the pace had been out of the race, mid-race he'd sort of taken charge a little bit. I thought I just wanted to switch him off early. It didn't matter how far back I was. I just wanted to get him to relax and tow into the race. And I got a good run through, and he ran great sectionals, probably from about the 500 to the 200 there, made up a lot of ground. And I thought I was a chance of winning, but the winner was just too strong.
What about the wind yesterday? Obviously, a strong wind. How much influence did it have on straight racing or racing in general?
Yeah, it certainly had merit on both, Bruce.
But it's pretty. I think that gives you a pretty good quick analogy of my life.
That's the cycle, Rich.
It is a cycle.
Let's have a look at the girls here in the Myer Classic.